Hey guys, Ryan Earnhardt here from CreativeSoundLab.tv. Well, today we are doing kind of a special video, and it's one of those that I just think it's crazy that I'm getting to do it. But we're going to be comparing the brand new AEA R88 active ribbon microphone with my true and trusty R88 Mark I. And we're also going to be comparing it with the N8 Bloomline stereo pair. So when I first started my studio, I only had a handful of mics. I had an old 414, a KM184, some dynamic mics for close mics on drums and guitar cabinets, and the R88 Mark I. And this was really kind of my foundation of my studio. This microphone has really been with me through thick and thin. And it was just an incredible mic. As soon as I got it, I could easily get drum sounds very, very quickly. I was able to impress clients very early on in the process of recording, and my drum sounds have never been the same. Before that, I was always fighting with spaced pair, small diaphragms. I just never could get the sound that I wanted to until I got the R88. So I've been using it for a long time now. And then I got to try out the N8, and the N8 has a noticeably different sound if you're familiar with the R88. It's a little bit different in the mid-range. However, it's a little bit better in the real deep lows, so like the 50, 40 hertz kind of stuff, specifically in a room mic on like the kick drum. All three of the stereo pairs of mics are going through the AARPQ2 preamps. This is the high impedance preamp that's designed specifically for ribbon mics. Let's check it out on Drum Overheads. Okay, really surprising here. I wasn't expecting this much of a difference. They are very similar, but they each have a sound. The R88, the original passive version, has kind of a very light, kind of dainty, but detailed sound to it. It's a nice warm sound, but compared to the R88A, it is more of a light on its feet kind of feeling. The N8 Bloomline stereo pair, that has a little bit different of a mid-range. It has a little bit more of a push at, say, 3, 4, 5K. It has a little bit less of a dynamic sound to it. Maybe it's just a little bit compressed. But it has a little bit more of an extension in the top, perhaps, and a little bit more in the low end. So it's kind of in between these mics, between the active version and the passive of this R88. It's kind of between these mics. Then of the R88 is the active version, and this just blows me away. It has better lows, better highs, and the sounds actually sound just, for some reason, stronger and thicker. It almost reminds me of a pair of nice large diaphragm condensers. But we're still talking about ribbons here, and there's just something about it that just sounds very, very strong, very authoritative. The R88 original, the passive version, it has its own kind of vibe. It has A really kind of nice, feathery, light sound to it. But this R88A is really something else. It's like the sound that I love, but just a notch better. I mean, I didn't think I could get any better than what I had, but this R88A is actually really nice for drum overheads, especially in the snare. If you listen to that snare, it's just thicker. I don't know why it's thicker, but it just has a beefier sound. Okay, let's move on to acoustic guitar. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of the same things I heard in overheads. I'm hearing a more kind of feathery, light, detailed sound, kind of a dainty sound out of the R88. The R88A, much more kind of robust, thicker, kind of a muscular tone. But it's still very much the same vibe as the original R88. It's just a little bit thicker. It's almost like it's going through some processing or maybe a different preamp or something. But it's really close, you know? It's just a thicker, more authoritative sound. And of course, the N8 Bloomline pair, this is, I mean, kind of a good bridge between the two. It has a little bit more upper mids, but man, it's really close. So really, none of these mics are going to hold anybody back. I mean, this is really a test of, you know, greatness here, and there's just levels of greatness. So there's no weak pair of mics here. But I'd love to know your thoughts on this. This was a pleasure to get to audition this R88A, being that I'm such a fan of the original R88. So I really appreciate the opportunity. I'd love to know your thoughts on this video today, and if anything stuck out to you. I'll be talking in the comments below.